KFAN Power Trip Morning Show. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Power Trip Morning Show. Ben Leber's everything. Mr. Muss is on his way in as well. Going to be a warm one out there today. Looks pretty nice out there right now, though. Sun's come up. Clouds are going to break eventually. Going to be muggy there, Ben.
I know. I think I caught just a little bit of you guys talking about the storm that rolled through. I was not expecting that. Was not expecting that.
That was a big one.
Had the window open. Nice little breeze last night when I went to bed. And I had to close that thing because it was lightning flashing, thunder. I was like, holy cow. It's not good. But yes, you're right. It's going to clear up and it's going to get almost 80 degrees.
By the way, I saw a picture of the lady who gave birth in the Golden Corral. Tiny little skinny thing.
Get out of here.
Swear to God.
No.
That's even
rail
weirder
thin.
then.
Rail thin.
Then that's even weirder.
I can't believe it. That's what I'm saying. And the baby was 6 pounds. I just don't get it. I don't know how that happens. Yeah, swear to you.
Man, that just doesn't make sense.
I know.
Again, even weirder for her, right? If you're 300 pounds, maybe you go, I just didn't notice the pregnancy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If you're 110, you probably notice every ounce you gain, and she didn't notice that she had a 6-pound baby in her.
Yeah.
Man.
Incredible.
Boy, feel bad for that baby.
I know that is something that's hard to live down. I mean, the playground's going to be misery.
Yeah.
Why is your middle name, one of your middle names, Corral?
Yeah. Well, teacher, Froggy won't leave me alone.
Don't Google it.
Good callback.
All right, should we do the
He's
news?
just calling me the worst name.
Yeah, Froggy, stop.
Froggy Stomp. Okay, here we
Man,
go.
I love Silverchair.
I know you do.
Yeah, Silverchair
This is KFAN News with Chris Hockey, presented by the St. Paul Saints.
You got to believe that, buddy boy. The St. Paul Saints. Oh, man, we are. Yeah, it's already June 3rd. Imagine that, guys. Before you know it, it's going to be July 24th.
Yeah.
We're going to be down at CHS Field talking to Bernie himself, and he will be alive. But right
So
now,
cool.
the Saints sit at 25-31. They return home to host Syracuse starting tomorrow night. So get yourself some tickets at saintsbaseball.com. Thank you, Saints Paul Saints, for bringing you my news. And there's lots going on in the world, including this. A new study shows that late night eating boosts the risk of developing cancer.
Oh, gosh.
And lots of studies showing the risks and benefits of what you eat. But a new study out of Chicago's Rush University, Modern Day Warriors.
Yeah.
If they have a football team, they got to be the Rush University Modern Day Warriors, right?
Yeah.
They were the first to look at it and find a link between eating late and developing colorectal cancer.
Oh, boy.
I know.
Did they say what you're eating?
Let's see. Researchers studied more than 600 people getting colonoscopies and found that nearly half of those admitting they were late night eaters were more likely to have adenomas, and non-cancerous lesions that can become cancerous over time. Scientists think it has something to do with the disruption of the body's circadian rhythm due to late night eating. So maybe it doesn't have anything to do with what you eat at all.
Just that you're eating.
That you're eating. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Circadian rhythms.
Every time you do a story about health and how dire it is for a certain group, you're basically just describing us every single time. It wasn't like a new study found out that if you eat a whole bunch of junk food late at night, it boosts your libido.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the opposite. It's no, probably got cancer. You're probably dead.
Mr. Mike
great.
Mussman.
Thanks.
Hi, Mussy.
Oh, morning, guys. How we doing?
How are you, buddy?
I'm so tired.
Yeah, I'm with you.
What's the dealio?
No,
Well, he's a late night eater, so he's circadian rhythms.
and my
really
libido
off.
is way down.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
That'll happen.
I mean, I didn't get much sleep. The bed was shaking so much. There was a lot of heavy breathing.
Was it your birthday?
Huffing and puffing.
Dogs
going
are
on.
afraid of storms, aren't they?
Yeah, damn Walter.
Yeah,
You had the
I knew
house
it.
to yourself
I knew it,
again?
yeah.
And he
Were you hammering it?
he has to actually be against you while he's just absolutely shuddering and shaking. And you're just like, God.
Poor
And then
thing.
he just keeps crawling back up closer to your, right in your ear. Just it happened at when he was 6. He's 15 now. He's got the glossy eyes.
Yeah, poor guy.
Yeah.
But
What happened when he was 6?
At 6 years of age, that's when all of a sudden I'm terrified of storms.
Oh, gotcha.
No kidding.
Buddy.
Yeah.
How big of a dog is Walter?
Walter? Oh my God. Well, he's a Shih Tzu. So
Excuse me?
You just made that up.
So that's-
no, he's a Shih Tzu poodle.
So he
And-
used him to wash your hair?
Shampoo.
So is this like a 30-pound dog?
Yeah, he's probably about 25.
That's a huge bitch.
He was last night. I can
He's
tell
a
you
dude.
that.
Oh, buddy.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's no way you can calm him down. It's not like you can't like make the thunder stop.
No.
And the problem is with dogs, like Pinky's going to show its face eventually, and you just don't know where and when. Am I right?
What did you say? Pinky's going to show his face?
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, his.
They
I believe
can't
he's
control it.
You're talking
referencing
about the-
Red Rocket.
Yeah, they can't control that thing.
Yeah,
When the lipstick comes out of the case?
That's
is that
exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And you're like, my God, I don't even want to look down and know what is that.
Does it
pressed
happen
up
with
against
your
my
dogs
leg.
when they get scared?
That's the thing, Muss, is, and Ben, I'm glad you brought that up. Is Walter turned on? Is he seduced by thunderstorms?
Yeah, is that his bit?
He might be.
Do you think he's afraid, but he's just shaking?
Yeah. He's just-
Was he trembling or humping you?
He's so horny.
He's got a little bit of Mississippi leg hound in him. Yeah.
Just let it go.
feeling the Holy Ghost a little bit. Please let me outside.
Yeah, he just wants to lay like the guy in Shawshank and just let it rain down on him. Just kind of funny.
But otherwise, I'm doing great.
Speaking of storms, by the way, nearly 90% of Minnesota is now drought-free. The latest U.S. drought monitor map shows that just over 2% of the state is in moderate drought. Another 8% is considered abnormally dry. Conditions could improve again next week as storms are in the forecast around the state, this week, over the next few days. So a lot of rain in the forecast. So that's, the rivers are very, very high, and there are a lot of problems out there because of that. But as of right now, that means we won't have such a devastating fire situation.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
You don't have
it is-
enough time to actually start a bonfire anymore.
That's true.
No,
It's always raining, man.
It's always raining.
Yeah. It's rained a lot.
Yeah.
It's raining men.
Hallelujah.
It's good for the
all
lakes, though. The
wish.
lake levels need to come up.
Yeah, we need water.
for sure.
We need
Yeah.
water, man. Give it to me. I need some water. Poor Walter, though.
Yeah, buddy.
Well, you don't feel bad for me?
No, not at all.
Not at all. I mean, Walter's got the milky eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. You were great on Saturday night, by the way. Thank you for being there. I appreciate that. You jumped around and you did shut up when I'm talking to you very, very loud.
A song that I had no idea. I never had heard it before.
You'd never
You had
heard
never
what?
heard One Step Closer?
No.
By
no,
Linkin Park. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I knew who Linkin Park is.
Sure.
That was their first big hit that put them on the map.
Yeah.
Well, I found
There
that
was a
out
map.
later, but yeah, when Hawk goes, okay, this is a song you're going to do, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've
So
never
what'd you do?
listened to a
Just
song.
like jump around and fake sing or what?
No.
Oh, he learned it.
Yeah, I learned the song.
Oh, you learned the song.
Yeah. And the pacing of it and when you're
Yeah.
supposed to do and what, all that kind of stuff. But
Yep.
no, it was an absolute blast. That was a really cool event.
Can't believe how many people came. Thank
And-
you, everybody. Out
and
there
your
for coming.
makeup
It so
was
much fun.
fantastic.
Thank you. It was a great night. The band was great. The support staff, everybody was just spectacular. Pat back here put on the big screen stuff for me. Whiskey Pete and Tom and Sarah and Andrea, everybody, just Lisa, just killed it for me. So thank you, everybody. It
I
was
thought
great.
rock stars though were always going to be able to take at least one groupie home and have some sex.
Sure, you
It
didn't
did not happen.
Didn't happen.
No.
Buddy.
Well, who took her home?
Yeah.
You were there with your wife.
I know. That's who I'm talking
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
It's truly a
She did not
monster.
go home with you.
No, she went home.
Well, in fairness, you took the song home with you. I believe on the ride home, you told your monster of a wife, "Shut up when I'm talking to you." And she
did say
probably
that,
Yeah.
didn't
Don't
care.
do
I believe I
that.
said, I cannot take this anymore.
Yeah.
Saying everything you said before. All these
Just
words,
like
they make no sense.
before.
I find bliss in ignorance. Unless you say, I should stop myself now. But yes, no, that was fun. You were jumping around, having a good time. It was great. Carly came out on stage and she did her Carly thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She's good with the tambourine.
She good. She good. She looked fantastic. She was great. So thank you. Must appreciate it.
yeah, absolutely.
That's good, man.
My pleasure.
A lot of people.
Every
out
once in
there.
a while, you got to get outside of your comfort zone, and that definitely was one of those.
Yeah. Somebody said they'd now seen everything. They seen Mike Mussman jumping around on stage singing Linkin Park. And you did it.
Yeah, it was fun.
And you did it.
Yeah, it was great.
And he did it.
And you did it.
Right.
There you go.
It was for a good cause, too.
Yeah, it was. We raised a lot of money for Reach. That's cool. The Downtown Improvement District and the Downtown Council have launched an initiative to enhance wayfinding in downtown Minneapolis. They're going to install interactive kiosks that provide information on businesses, attractions, and services. These touchscreen kiosks will be covered in urine by the end of the day.
That is true.
Yes. Probably.
That is true.
Yeah, how do they guard against that?
I don't think they do.
What if somebody that's unhoused urinates on one of these things?
Right. I'm afraid. I'm just going to say this. urine's the least of your worries.
That is true.
Hawk is correct.
Yeah. These touchscreen kiosks they're going to offer directions, event listings, even games for users to enjoy.
Come on. So this is going to be like one of those. It's like a mall directory.
That's a well said. Yes.
Oh, these will be peed on and broken
Used
within a
and
week.
abused.
Yeah, they'll be broken.
Yeah.
The kiosks aim to connect residents, workers, and visitors to the downtown area and will eventually cover various locations throughout the city. The kiosks also offer access to social services information and emergency alerts, making them a valuable resource to the community. This is one of those things that when you're sitting in the boardroom, you say, this is a great idea.
Well, because conceptually it is.
It's a great idea.
It's the same
and
reason
let me
why
tell
a
you
mall
what.
directory makes sense.
Correct.
It would be nice. Now, again, most of us have those kind of things on our phones now. But
Yeah.
if you went to a foreign country and all of a sudden you see one of these sons of bitches, you're like, I'm going to tap this. My guess is we can convert it to English. Let's see if we can get some help.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
That would be
These would work
fantastic.
perfectly in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Here they're going to be covered in feces and urine.
This experiment will last about a month.
Yeah.
A lot like that portal from New York
Correct.
City to Dublin. Somebody will flash their jugs and it'll be all over.
Or hack it and it'll just show porn.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to just go ahead and encourage the ladies out there to show this thing your jugs.
Yep.
And I didn't say it. Corey said it.
Yeah. Why did you
I don't
say
remember
that?
saying
I was
that.
using the preferred nomenclature
Yeah, of jugs.
of Corey Cove.
Yep.
He likes to call them jugs.
Yep.
I
As
have
Saw
respect.
says, it's like you always say.
Yeah. I do say that a lot. And I think 95% of the time I'm wrong.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yep. You run cold.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
Dateline, Harwich, Massachusetts. What is MA? Maryland? Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Yeah, thank you.
Massachusetts.
Is Marilyn MD?
I believe you are correct.
I don't know if she's a doctor or not, buddy.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
See, that was brilliant.
Brilliant.
And you get pissed because he never tells you you're
never.
brilliant. He never
No.
does.
Well, you're mean.
But you don't say things like Maryland and then say, I don't know if she's a doctor. See, if you came up with something clever.
Between
I thought that was funny.
now and the end of the segment, I'm going to try to think of something clever. It might not even be funny. I'm just going to try to say something clever and see if I can get you to say brilliant.
Genius.
Just don't get your
Wait,
coffee
did that
ready.
count? Why?
Because I was mocking you.
Oh, man.
A mirror in an outdoor shower is likely to blame for sparking a house fire in Harwich over the weekend. Officials believe the sun's rays were magnified off the mirror and onto the side of the home. Nobody was home when the fire broke out. No personal injuries were reported. The fire caused around $100,000 in damage, mostly in the kitchen and attic. Have you guys ever accidentally done something like that? Where you, not necessarily with a mirror, but some other thing where you put it somewhere and you say to yourself, man, I got real lucky that I realized that thing was about to catch fire.
I'm more concerned with my body type right now.
We
Why
all
would
are,
you
buddy.
have a mirror while you're watching yourself
I think
shower?
I think it's fair.
Yeah.
So you can.
Remember what we were saying about those kiosks?
Yes, you can look up and go, look at me. Ta-da. That's what it's for, right?
I don't know. I should have a mirror in front of my refrigerator.
Oh,
Hey, look at yourself before you reach in here.
yeah. That would work well
Look
for
what
me,
you've
too.
done.
I think we probably all have been there, right? When you're cooking something on the stove and you walk away and you're like, "Ooh, boy, that I probably shouldn't have put that right next to the fire when
Oh,
walking away."
yeah, man. Yeah.
Or when you put the box of mac and cheese on the wrong burner and you start that burner.
Or you.
Yeah.
because you're stoned to the bone. You walk away.
Whoa.
Stoned to the bone.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. I'm talking about a friend.
No, you're saying
Yeah, not from firsthand experience.
I couldn't think of anything clever.
Oh,
There was
no.
nothing in there that was available to me, unless I missed an obvious joke, I
I
guess.
still admire you.
You know what?
guess
Sauce, just
I
put
blew
that
it.
genius in your back pocket. Save it for later.
I don't know if I can reach it, though. I got little arms.
Big back pocket, though.
Yeah, I do.
More of the Power Show Morning Show after this.
Find our Mall of America street team all summer long out at our station events. Come find us and ask us about our MOA mystery cards where everyone is a winner. See where we'll be next at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
That's right. Mini camp this week of the Vikings. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I got some audio, and we'll talk to Ben Leber about that. Mussman and Leber are both here. And, of course, closing down shop down at Target Center. Finch and Connolly both spoke to the press a little bit this weekend. Here's head coach Finchy on moving forward with the Timberwolves.
As a young team who's experienced, what they've just experienced, young players rather, we have to make sure that the lessons that we learned, in the Dallas series and before in the playoffs are applied day one in training camp and every day up until that point in time, because there's a lot of teams that have reached this point and gone backwards.
Ben, interesting thought here, process, because you've been on a team that made it all the way to the NFC Championship.
Yes.
You're that close. Mm-hmm. The offseason goes, you lose players, you gain players, you lose coaches, you gain coaches. Does it seem impossible when the season ends, when he throws that interception, when NFC Championship game is over, do you look at it and go, man, I can't, that's never going to happen again. There's a real chance that, or do you have the athlete's mentality of, we'll be right back there again? Because it seems like such a long road to get to the NFC Championship game that it almost must seem impossible to get there again.
Yes, there was a little bit of that. Yeah, there was a little bit of like, that was it. That was the window.
Right.
We had a very, very small window of opportunity. And we felt like we caught Brett with lightning in the bottle. And this was it. This was going to be the Cinderella story. This is going to be like, the things that movies are made of when he comes basically, not out of retirement, but, he's at his age, given everything that was going on, the fact that he wanted to be a Viking a couple years before, it finally is all happening. Like, this is happening, and then it doesn't happen, and you're like, well, who's to say he's even going to come back? Like, we all thought that this was going to be like a one and done thing for him anyway. He was going to go all in, try to win the Super Bowl with us, and then that was going to be it. And then, as you guys fast forward, all of that almost came to fruition, where we had to go down and send the three horsemen down to Mississippi to basically convince him to come back. And then the Wilfs had to write a $20 million check to say, hey, man, like, come back and play for us one final time. And we all know how that season went. So yeah, it was a real feeling that was it. Like, this, we have no more opportunities.
And that's the difference between that squad and the Wolves squad,
sure.
Right? Is even though this group's window might be relatively short, the Ant window is just opening.
Just opening.
Right. So we have a decade plus, as long as he stays here, a decade plus of Ant opportunities. But yeah, that might look very different in the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. So I don't feel that panic. Like, man, we better get this done in the next year or two, or this is never going to happen. We got a decade plus of Ant.
Well, and because you got the starting five and the sixth man, I mean, it's not as big a roster, right? I mean, so there's not as much of flux as there is on an NFL team. Would you agree?
Well said. Yeah.
Let me hit this real quick.
It's time for Fan 5 on the Power Trip, presented by All Around Property Preservation.
Thank you, All Around. Before you I start, though, let me continue with this Wolves conversation, because I have a question for you guys. Maybe you can answer. This is Tim Connolly, who does something for the Wolves, right? Mm-hmm. On the luxury tax. Tell me what this means.
Yeah, I think we have to be cognizant of how big the table we're at. Oftentimes, the Final Four table comes with a price tag that's different than teams that aren't playing this late in the season. And certainly, whatever ownership allows, we're going to be committed and aggressive. I think when you get a taste of it, you want more and more. So that'll be something we discuss with ownership. It's also something that we're pretty aware, to a large degree, to be where we are. It's going to come with a certain check.
Please, somebody explain to me, if you can. I thought the luxury tax was equal. Was based on your market size. Is it based on where you finish in the league?
No, it's based on salaries. We're way over. Yeah. So, yeah, you get penalized for going over.
Yep.
Okay, I get that. What's that got to do with where you finished the season?
I think he's just saying that, like, look, we went all in and got Gobert, and we have three Cat and Gobert, at least two high-priced guys.
Okay.
Ant's going to be high-priced.
Okay, got it. Right.
I think he's just saying we invested in this team, and it got us this far, but there's a price to invest this highly in a handful of players.
Cat's going to make 49, Rudy's going to make 43, and Ant's going to make 42.
Right, so that's a big investment. And then Jaden McDaniels makes a ton because he just got that big deal a year or so
23.
ago. Nas has one of the best deals in the league, one of the best value deals in the league. And that's why, for people like Sauce that are convinced they're going to try to trade Cat, is you have a guy that's a third of the price in Nas Reed that could slide in and start for almost every team in the league. So you could cut a lot of money. And is the drop from Cat to Nas like epic? It's a drop, but is it a giant one? I don't know if it is.
I think.
Yeah, probably on a consistent basis.
I don't know if it is a drop. It's a
the
drop.
rebounding.
Where Cat's
a
game
better
is right
rebounder.
Yeah, well, right now, this past season, Cat showed that he's a better defender than he had been in his entire career. The thing about it with Cat, though, is that when you watch the regular season games, the Wolves, the one gripe that a lot of us have had with the Wolves throughout the regular season is their offense really only comes from Ant, Cat, and Nas on a night-to-night basis. Like, that's the primary spot where it comes from. So if you're going to trade Cat, which I'm not advocating that they do, I'm just saying you would need to replace him with someone that has significant offensive firepower, because obviously we saw in the playoffs that sometimes the scoring was the problem with this Wolves team, and you need someone that can get out there and get their own shot. And like a lot of this Wolves offense still comes from Karl Anthony Towns.
Double T on in the zone made a very, very, very good, laid out how they should trade Cat for Trae Young and laid out why and all these. I mean, he knows way more about basketball than I do. But as Maxo just said, if you're going to trade him, you can't trade him for pieces. You can't trade him for the second overall pick.
No.
You have to get – I think – I love Mike Conley. Mike Conley is the dad of the group. He's the one that gets him in the right situation and calms him down. We saw it in that game where he missed in Denver. But, they need more scoring from that. So if they move Cat, I would try and get a premier point guard and either have Conley come off the bench, because you need more – you can't just trade him for – a seventh or eighth guy off the bench and a bunch of draft picks. You have to trade him for a superstar.
So the question, though, is, and we dealt with the same thing with the Vikings situation. It's like, well, why don't we just trade for this guy? So Trae Young, he plays for what, Atlanta?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is Atlanta a 7-foot 3-point shooter away if they give away their point guard? I
think they're just going to tear down and restart. Trae Young reportedly is on the trade market. So
and they have the number 1 overall pick in a weird draft, right, Max? So, I don't even know who is it.
Couple of foreign
Star
kids.
Something, is that his last?
Sar. S-A-R-R.
But I think they are in kind of the same mode.
So they're in sell mode.
The Wolves and Atlanta both went all in on 2-point guards, and then we went all in on 2 centers. And for them, it's failed miserably. So they had DeJounte, is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They traded for DeJounte Murray, a point guard. They ran to a 2-point guard offense. One of them is going to be traded.
So where does all this settle with the A-Rod Laurie situation? Because that they were saying, well, the reason we're going to kill this deal is because they want to downsize.
That was what Glenn was saying.
That's what Glenn was saying.
Yep.
Right? But here we are, and Tim Conley's basically saying the same thing.
Well, he's saying we have to see what ownership wants to do. And I think that is a nice way of saying we have to figure out who the owners are going to be and what their plan is. I don't know if Glenn...
But from a business standpoint, he understands it. They got to shed some stuff.
And I think, aren't they projected to be $75 million over or something? Yeah. It's a giant number. It's not like it's $5 million in A-Rod or Laurie or Taylor's being cheap. I think it's significantly over. That's a huge check to just pay because you're over the luxury tax line.
Well, and to the Nas point too, we got him on a good deal now, but next time I'm not sure we're going to get that same deal because the price is going to go way up.
And by the way, I'm going to disagree with Sauce a little bit.
What?
I have so much faith.
No.
I have so much faith in Ant that if you traded Cat to shed the salary and loaded up on draft picks and said, we have enough of a core now, but let's build it in the next 2 or 3 years. So then when Ant truly hits his prime in 24, 25, not the year, I mean like age 24, 25, that we have even more youth and athleticism. And you better be right?
Sure.
Trae Young's a known commodity. Draft picks are obviously hit and miss. But, man, if you swing big and go Oklahoma City or try the process back in Philly, if you just go, look, give me as many picks as possible, not only does that recoup some stuff that we lost in the Gobert bit, gets us cheaper, gets us younger. I'm not opposed to that if you can get a haul for Cat. I just don't know which teams are willing to give you a whole bunch of picks for him. We'll see.
I think you do that if you lose to Phoenix. That, I think, is the plan. But you get all the way to you're in the Final Four, and it would be the Twins all over again. If they, in the moment, it would be horrible. As you said, though, 3 years from now, it may be, wow, that was the best trade ever. but it would look like they're cutting salary cap after they did exactly what the Twins did.
But look at the record that the Wolves had when Cat missed 20 or 25 games. They almost stayed at the same pace, right? I mean, Ant proved he can do this without Cat.
Yeah.
So that's why I think he's so good that he gives you the window to say, we don't have to trade for a superstar. If they want to, that's fine. But they definitely could say, like, look, all offers are on the table. If you can put together some kind of crazy package that gets us under, not maybe under the luxury tax, but lower the luxury tax penalty and gets us younger and gets us some picks, I'm listening to that for sure, too.
Yeah.
Are we at all concerned that Ant sort of hit the wall at the end of the season? Like
I'm so glad you brought that up. Listen to this, dude. This is Conley talking about that exact thing, Ben.
He was a little tired, but I don't think it was any fitness level. It was probably a bit overwhelming to go through that. This is on top of him playing with the national team last year, and USA basketball starts in 3 weeks. So whatever this season, whatever the epitaph of the season, I hope we all appreciate how special Anthony is and how much he did, and not just on the court, off the court, as a teammate in the community. I mean, I've never seen a 22-year-old do what he's done. So whatever the next step is, I'm sure it'll be unbelievable because everything up to this point has been unbelievable.
And going to be interesting to your point, Ben, this year because Anthony was one of the loudest anti-load management guys of the season, right? Like, no, I'm playing.
Right.
As all these other stars are sitting out. So if he wants to stick with that, I think we all would appreciate him staying with that opinion of not wanting to just sit out random games. They might have to look into his off-day regimen or maybe his game day regimen. Like, how do you lessen the load the rest of the time if Anthony still wants to play 82 games a year? How do you get him that rest so he doesn't hit the wall?
Well, how do they handle all of this stuff after a long season where he basically hit a mental wall, and then he's got to go into USA basketball and go represent USA in the Olympics, and then have virtually no offseason and come right back into an 82-game schedule? Like, something's got to give. Whether it's
as a young guy too, he's not at that spot right now, mentality wise, where it's like, okay, I gotta take my foot off the throttle a little bit.
Yeah, and it's only going to get worse because if everybody's going to anoint him and crown him the next Michael Jordan, which they did during the playoffs. Now he didn't live up to it in the last series. But all of the marketers, all the people off the court are going to be pulling at him 1,000 different directions. And he was already seemingly like on a lot of national commercials, doing a lot of stuff even before that. So how does he handle being wanted by everybody and also taking care of his mentals and taking care of physically his body? Like, they got to have a plan. Not that they have to tell us, but my goodness, man, like this guy's going to get worn out in the next 2 years if he keeps at this pace.
Yeah.
I would say nap more.
Yeah.
Like almost every day, all day. Just nap.
On the flip
right before the game.
Oh, sorry, Car. On the flip side, though, he did like his time with Team USA last summer, like significantly increased his game in so many different ways.
Correct.
And now this year, he's going to be around even better players: LeBron, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, so on and so
His
forth.
teammate, Kevin Durant.
Yeah, exactly. So like he's in every single season, he's improved in literally almost every single statistical category. So like we have no reason to believe that he's not going to get better, but yeah, hopefully he learns from the playoffs this time around. And he even said that he needs to kick his training into another gear, so he has another gear when he gets this deep into the playoffs again.
Well,
so
didn't Steve Kerr tell him we wouldn't have drafted you number 1 or 2 because the way you trained? Before?
Yeah, I think he said that really woke him up when Steve Kerr told him that, was like, hey, you gotta be more into it 24/7.
To your point, though, Ben, at some point there's a fitness level you can reach, right? You got to worry more about rest than fitness.
Exactly.
At some point, right?
Like it's not all. Like, look, I mean, Laquan Treadwell was famously during training camp running stairs.
Right.
In his off time.
I forgot about that.
Like, Tread, this is your issue is not your fitness level. Your issue is is a bunch of other things like catching the ball. So like sometimes you can get hyper focused on the thing that's not even an issue. Like, dude, you need to rest. Like, get your feet up, relax. Like, you need to clear your head. Find a way to like turn that switch off so you can be fresh to play these games.
I mean, you played in an era, Ben, where guys would show up to camp to get into shape.
Yeah. It kind of still happens.
Yeah.
More of the Power Trip Morning Show after this on The Fan.
The Fan.
Welcome back, Power Power Trip Morning Show. Mussman, Leber. Yep, they're here. You're right, PA.
Oh, PA's pumped.
Minicamp's happening this week. What if the players are pumped about that?
This is mandatory, right?
Mandatory.
Yeah, mandatory, man. Got to be there.
So will JJ be there?
No.
Jet's not going to be there?
No.
I mean, if it's mandatory,
Yeah.
I would guess that he is.
Yeah,
Wasn't he there
one would
last year?
Probably not, though.
For the mandatory ones?
Who's the guy that's on ESPN? Like
Chris Berman.
No.
Natalie Portman.
No, not her. Like the ESPN insider guy that isn't Schefter.
It doesn't
He
matter.
used to work for the Star Tribune. Dan something, doesn't matter.
Dan the
But didn't
Muppet
he
Man?
say over the weekend that he expects Justin to show up, but he'll do like a sit-in? Like where he...
Dan the Muppet Man said that JJ's sitting in?
Or whatever, like TJ did last year.
Yeah, so he'll come in and say like, oh my back.
Yeah.
My back.
Yeah, just grape lady on it and then be there but not be participating.
What a great bid.
Yeah, he'll be on a stationary bike on the sidelines.
Okay.
It's going to be made of paper?
I like the stationary.
Yeah, it's an origami bike.
Yeah.
Genius.
PA
See,
and
you're
God, I
just
should have
jealous.
thought of the stationary
Yeah,
joke.
Just jealous.
Man.
If you thought of that, he might have given you a genius.
PA and
Damn
Noto
it.
are at TCO tomorrow and Wednesday.
See, and that's why I didn't get a genius for that, because he was reading his text.
Noto
Correct,
texted me,
yeah.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But I asked him because
can you give me a late
Genius.
late onset genius? Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Oh, man.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
God, you're running hot today.
Are you him or me? Because I'm definitely.
No, he just likes your bits better.
He
That's
does.
fine.
Thank you. I'd like to do some Vikings news for you.
It's time for Vikings news on the Power Trip, presented by
Your truck accessories.
Well, we did mention this earlier, Ben. It sounds, I don't know why Vikings fans are super optimistic about this because I don't think we're going to, quote, benefit from this, but it does sound like, according to sources, that the tampering cases between the Falcons and the Eagles are supposed to be resolved this week. Punishments possibly thrown out this week. The Falcons tampered with Cousins. Eagles tampered with Saquon Barkley, according to everybody. And sources are telling NFL media that the Falcons' discipline is expected to be more severe than the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be just financial?
Well, it sounds like
draft
it's going to
picks.
be just draft picks. And unfortunately, it sounds like, according to Mike Florio, that this all should have been at least the Falcons situation and Kirk Cousins, because it was 4 blatant, very open and obvious violations that the investigation could and should have been done before the draft. And it sounds like if it was done and concluded before the draft, there may have been some sort of compensation and reward for the Vikings. But at this point in time, that's not even on the table. It's going to be a punishment. They'll take something away from the Falcons. The Vikings will reap no benefits from this. But it will basically hit them pretty hard. And to his point, and Corey, you brought it up earlier, that this is probably the back channel reason why that they drafted Michael Penix, was they knew when Cousins admitted to all these things and they were going to get hit with some penalties. They're like, well, we got a plan for the fact that, let's hope that Cousins is good and that our first round draft picks are going to be in the late 20s. And if the NFL takes some picks away from us, possibly a first round draft pick next year, the year after, then we got to have a succession plan for Kirk Cousins because we know that he's on a limited contract. So they're planning for the future, knowing that they're going to have things taken away from them. And if that comes to fruition, then yes, they are playing more chess than we are with this situation, because we are all playing checkers. Like, this is so stupid. Why would they bring this upon themselves? But if they knew all this stuff was going on behind the scenes, then this is the smart play.
Yeah, didn't Kirk basically do all the investigating for him?
Yeah, he just admitted everything, like, openly.
And will he be week 1 starter?
Well, barring the injury, I don't know. Yeah. He might not be, which is why they're like, well, let's get a guy that we think that can play right now, so we don't have to play catch up and lose 4 or 5 games of the season before Kirk's ready to go. Right. So, yeah, it's a short term guy for now, and then also is the succession plan for later on.
Here's some audio from OTAs last week as they prepare for minicamp this week. Jordan Addison on what he's working on in this offseason.
I'll just say last year I wasn't as confident in my releases. I wasn't being decisive. I didn't have no plan when I was coming up to the line. I was kind of just freelancing, trying to do what I could do, make something work. But now, like I said, it's my focus.
Man, I totally understand where he's coming from. I mean, I didn't have, when I was from rookie year to second year, did not have as much as probably he had to think about when it comes to all the receiver releases and reading coverages and stuff like that. But I know that mindset of just like, man, I'm kind of swimming. Like every game plan's different from week to week. I'm only focused on like, I just got to run the right route. Like I just got to be in the right place where Kirk's going to throw me the ball. There's so many times where you just line up and you're like, I can only have enough time to process exactly what my responsibility is, and my eyes, the blinders aren't off my eyes yet. Like I need to open my field of vision to everything that I can process, and I think he's going to have a huge year because he recognizes that and he knows that, and now he's going to be much more confident, and he's going to see the whole field versus just what he has to look at.
He's a great player.
Yeah,
he's a very, very, very good football player.
Here's Shaq Griffin on OTAs and his injury situation last year and how it's going to affect him this year.
It haven't been too bad. I feel like the hardest part for me was probably last year, bouncing off the back surgery, being out for 5-6 months and kind of jumping right into it. This year I got the full off season, so, man, it's been phenomenal. I feel like I had no issues with the back since then. Nothing has been stressful. I get a chance to really work my craft and come in really in shape before the season starts. Last year was just, after back surgery and everything, I just had to come in and play. They ain't give me no time for nothing, so this year I get a full off season, so it feels a lot different. So I'm just enjoying the process now.
I keep forgetting he's on the team.
Yeah, back surgery for anybody's bad. Back surgery for a cornerback. Oof.
Yeah, no kidding.
Ben, if this team still had peak Kirk Cousins, and let's say a running back like Aaron Jones in his prime, right? So we had prime Aaron Jones, prime Kirk Cousins, and locked and loaded on offense, right? TJ Hawkinson's healthy. And we were just looking at the defense going, all right, offense is Super Bowl ready. Would you think this defense is Super Bowl ready? Like with the additions we made this offseason, how do you feel about the either progress or regress of the defense?
I think it still remains to be seen on the interior part of our defensive line, but I feel pretty good about where we are, where we've added to this defense versus last year. Like I think that we've gotten more athletic outside as pass rushers. As much as we lost Daniil, I think that he's great. I mean, he's going to get you double-digit sacks, and he's going to be a force in the run game. He's going to be disruptive. But I think overall we've gotten faster. I think that we've gotten more athletic. Now, can we be stout when we have to be stout? And that's the thing that I think that we have to wait till the season. But I would say that we have gotten better from last year, talent-wise, across the board on defense.
Linebackers as well?
Agreed,
yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, because Daniil just, there was no flexibility for him. I mean, It was just hand the ground, here we go, see quarterback, get quarterback, for the most part. And he was really, really good at it.
He's really good at it.
But then now what they've done with the changes that they've made and the players that they've acquired, they have so much more flexibility. And you can see even from last year, with Brian Flores' defense and how much flexibility really matters. I mean, Metellus is like maybe the biggest key in that whole thing, as far as like, wow, you got to have some flexibility.
Yeah.
And their second first-round pick is going to be an absolute monster. Dallas Turner is going to be a stud.
Yep. Yeah, with him and Grenard and Van Ginkel, like I just think that, maybe they don't have the name recognition that Daniil had, but I think that, again, we are literally like more flexible when it comes to the body types and their just explosion off the line. I think this is going to be a really fast-looking sub-packaged blitz package, faster than last year, which is kind of crazy to think about because we could bring the heat when we need to bring the heat, but now I don't think that we have to use a Metellus and as much in the blitzing scheme as we need to. Now I think that we can just use sort of the proverbial front four, even though it's going to be like a 5-man look most of the time, but we can use that, so those 4 or 5 guys to rush the passer and not have to sacrifice as much in the coverage aspect of it.
It's going to be fun, man. I can't wait.
Yeah.
It's not the end, as Hawk knows, preseason football right around the corner.
Right around the corner, man. It's May camp
the
this
Hall
week,
of Fame
right?
game is 2 months from today.
I'm sure you guys already knew this. You might have said it and I missed it. I don't know. But Florio said he thinks the Jefferson deal could get done this week.
I mean, could I see it getting done this week? Could it maybe be next
No, I said Florio.
Well, then that's probably right. He's pretty tuned in.
Well,
he's
do we know
connected.
off the top of our head right now, are there other wide receivers that are waiting to get paid? I mean, I think the carousel's gone around the circle, right? Like
Right.
we've
Yeah.
Who are we missing? Is it Chase?
No, I think that's
Jamar,
it.
yeah.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
But his deal doesn't have to be done this year, right?
No,
I don't think so.
Because he was, 2021?
Yeah. So he
I don't know.
technically has probably another year of negotiation window where we kind of have to get this thing done.
Right, and I've heard people say that too. Like, well, we could still do the 5th-year option on JJ, and we could tag him a couple times. Well, yeah, then he's going to ask for a trade. That's going to piss him off.
Don't do that.
So
No.
technically, sure, you could lock him down for 4 more years, but that would not work. If you want him to stay here, you got to pay him.
No.
Yep.
Yeah,
By the way,
he's
not
the
to-
face and name of the Vikings.
Yeah, Sauce, you just said it's going to be fun and you can't wait. Haven't you said that they're going to start 1-5?
Yeah, but it's football season.
It is
man. That's
football
what I mean.
season,
I
but that's
can't
going to
wait
be
for that.
if it's 1-5, that's going to be rough.
Yeah, but I just can't wait. I want the summer to fly by, and football season is the best. There's nothing better. A 1-17 or 1-16 Vikings season is better than any other sports season.
What?
It doesn't sound like you.
Yes.
Hang on. 1-16 Vikings is better than the Wolves making the Western Conference Finals.
Well, that's different because that doesn't normally happen around here. But would you rather watch 1-16 or a full twin season?
Corey, how many times have we seen Sauce come into the studio and go, "That's it, I'm gone"?
Every week.
Right. And you're okay with
Sauce,
a one-win season.
Sauce,
I'm not
with
buying
you.
it.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Sing it.
You'd rather watch the Twins play against the Cleveland Spiders or whatever they're called now than the football season?
No. Even compare it to the Timberwolves. If you're in real time,
Yeah.
right, if you're watching the Timberwolves season in real time in the regular season, what's more exciting? Them playing, I don't know, the Cleveland Cavaliers or the Vikings playing anybody else?
Correct.
If we're 1-16, if we're that unwatchable,
No, you don't know that.
But that's not what he's saying.
We might
If
be
you're just saying-
1-7.
You're saying Vikings versus Timberwolves. That's different. Sauce is saying if the team's 1-16, if they're that unwatchable, I would watch Ant in the regular season any day of the week over a 1-16 Vikings squad. The Wolves are my favorite team anyway.
Football season is way more fun than any other.
Essentially one game a week versus, well, if I missed
I'd
a
rather-
game,
right. Yeah.
we'll still play again
Plus,
here in
the
2
biggest
days.
difference is that one of them's playing basketball and the other's playing football.
But the other thing too, though, is and this you have to bring into consideration. Half of us can't watch the baseball team right now, and if the playoffs were on Bally, we couldn't watch that either. If this
When's
continues,
baseball season start?
It started in April.
Okay.
And then it ends in, late October. But hockey season starts in the middle of October, late September, right?
Okay.
It's still going. That's ridiculous. The 4 months of football season are better than any other season in professional sports, and it's
Now
not
we're debating
close.
two completely different things.
But I would rather watch a bad Vikings team than I would have rather watched the Vikings be 1-16 than watch the Western Conference Finals.
Well, you look at the ratings.
No, the
too,
football is way more fun to watch.
Yeah, the ratings bear it out
Right.
too, because what is it? The top 3 shows from last year was Sunday Night Football, then Monday Night Football, and then Thursday Night Football.
No one's debating.
Wait till Wednesday night.
No one's debating football versus
That's happening.
basketball. It's 1-16 versus a Western Conference Finals run.
I'd rather watch football.
Everybody likes what they
Interesting.
want to like.
Yeah,
Who
right.
cares?
And it's my opinion.
I'm probably going to be
Captain.
watching pornography anyway.
Yeah, we know
Don't
that.
matter. Just for 15, 20 minutes. I'll get back to the game.
Do they have a
15 to
Super Bowl of
20
that?
minutes.
Yeah, it takes me a while to find something I like.
Yeah, the AVNs, man. Hawk watches that.
Who said what now?
The AVNs, you watch that.
Audio visual news?
No, brilliant.
Nah, it's some sort of bird thing.
It is, yeah, avians. I'm a big fan of
Some dude got the bird flu, and I think we're all screwed now, right?
Yeah.
Is it Iowa? Where was the person that got the bird flu?
Oh.
That doesn't
Maybe it was Birdman.
Maybe he gave a
I think it
bird
was
the flu.
Iowa.
Was it BG?
Is it Iowa?
Was it
Look this
Juve or
up.
Wayne?
Yeah.
Let me see here. Bird flu guy.
Bird flu's back.
If I want to test positive for bird flu, who knows?
Wasn't he on a plane? And
He
they
was
were
drunk on a
concerned about
plane.
that? But all the other passengers? Thought I heard that.
I don't know.
It could have been the AVNs.
I don't know. I already lost interest. What really matters, though, is that the Power Trip Morning Show's 8 o'clock hour is right after this. We'll do headlines. We'll do Fan 5. This is the Power Trip Morning Show on the Fan.